Do that. On the flip side, Canada likes to play a very direct style. We've seen that from Norway over the years, and of course, Evan Pellerud used to lead Norway's side.
On the distribution to the right side, this one somehow kept in play by the Canadians. The keys for April Heinrich said we'll have to handle whatever Canada gives us. If they play in a bunker defense, we'll have to break that. Not many teams will start with 5 in the back. How do you beat that? Well,
there's a number of ways to beat it, and you can be sure that the U.S. has focused on that in training. Every time the U.S. sees that type of thing, it's just great experience because they're going to see it in the World Cup. A lot of teams frustrate the U.S. the most when they do play a bunker defense, and I'll talk more throughout the game a number of ways for the U.S. to beat a bunker defense.
The cross was for Hamm. It was open. It just didn't get there. Chastain nods it down to the far side where the USA maintained possession. Back for Chastain. Brandy will hold it, now play it. She tried to go wide. Turned away by Melanie Booth. 8 of these Canadian players played on the under-19 Canadian side that finished second only to the United States in the first under-19 Women's World Championship last year.
You know, JP, leading up to the '99 World Cup, I think we are all in agreement that Brazil was the most improved nation, and we were seeing a lot of depth in their side. I think Canada now probably holds that reign. They just, like you said, they're developing their young players, and those players are really making an impact. I mentioned Lang in the defense for Canada. She is an impact at age 16.
On the throw-in. Outside, this is Matheson. It's blocked out. Will be another throw-in coming up. Canadians will wait, and Andrews will put it back into play. Series history very lopsided, except in the last 7 matches where it's been pretty even. At one time, USA had won over 20 straight against the Canadians. So more competitive since Pellerud took over, no question. Canada's the last team to beat the USA at home, and that was a couple of years ago.
Of course, one of the biggest things that Pellerud's trying to install in his side is a lot of confidence and the will to win. Just have the will to win, and that obviously comes from his great history with Norway.
Defeated streak on the line today at home. That last loss was in Columbus. Pellerud told me yesterday he's very excited, obviously, about this coming World Cup, but he said watch out for 2007 because of all the good young players that the Canadians now have. To the right side for Sobrero. Kate kept it in play on the sideline for MacMillan. And it's going to be cleared all the way back to the halfway line and beyond for Fawcett. Foudy coming back.
Joy Fawcett just came off of ankle surgery. She had some bone spurs removed from her ankle and played a full 90 minutes for her WUSA team, San Diego Spirit. She's just an amazing, just amazing. She's a superwoman.
She only missed a couple of weeks. Down the field. Far side, Mia Hamm. That will always concern April Heinrichs. In 4th year now as the head coach. He's got 4 more games. Try some of these players out. Played inside off McLeod's touch. And some contact there. And the foul goes against the USA. Cindy Parlow using her size and strength inside.
And here's the ball in. Offsides call there. You can see those players that were running on the restraining line. Parlow getting in there. Good idea by the U.S. She throws a little elbow out there and comes away with the foul. But good idea to send Parlow in with her size. She's really going to complement Hamm up top very, very, very well. She plays great with her back to pressure. And MacMillan is really on top of her game as well.
Reddick said Parlow plays for the Atlanta Beat. It's first of a doubleheader today at RFK. The Atlanta Beat playing against Washington. Second game. Here's Sinclair trying to break through. And Sinclair will score the goal against the win of play. Canada's most dangerous player is giving him the lead. Just like that. How about that? You can hear a pin drop in the stadium. Wow. Sinclair's a great goal scorer, and she was isolated in a one-on-one.
Sinclair's the kind of player you don't want to let run free in that space there, and the ball bounces. That's the mistake there, and Sinclair's got great speed. Looks up, very opportunistic. Sees Scurry committing here. Another great ball here. Look at that ball just dropping in behind the defense. Chastain has trouble with it. Sinclair's speed is too much for her to handle, and what a world-class finish. And that's one of those players, JP, that you're mentioning is coming onto the scene. I mean, Sinclair's one of the best players in the world at a very young age.
Played for Clive Charles at the University of Portland. They won the championship, and for Sinclair, her 36th international goal, and this only her 45th appearance.
Well, and we mentioned that Christine Latham was the lone front runner for Canada in this match, but you better bet that we're going to see Sinclair up there really pushing the edge of that defensive line. and trying to create opportunities.
When you go with 5 in the back, 5-4-1, you are playing defensively, and your hope is to either score on a free kick or maybe on a counterattack. And that's how the Canadians did come back. Throw-in coming up for, thought it would be the U.S. It's Canada's ball. They lead on a Sinclair goal in the 7th minute. Booth had the assists. So Canada strikes first. And let's see if that brings up the confidence level. It's going to be a goal kick. Sounder Hunt.
And here's the last goal brought to us by the Philips Electronics goal cam. Just look at this space here. Brianna Scurry's way off her line. She's completely overcommitted and really not in a position to be able to make a save here. Perfect placement in the lower left-hand corner by Sinclair.
Scurry will put it back into play. Her team down by 1. On the long ball. Ended up and Canada won it for the moment. Fight to win it back was Rustad, number 8, up for Sinclair. Back to the U.S. end where Sobrero clears it out. On the run for it, Lilly. Headed back into that crowded defensive middle. Andrews gave it back to Lilly. Lays it off for Foudy. On the right side, MacMillan. MacMillan's pass up. And then for Parlow, then Wagner. Flex out. The Canadians just play it safe. And it'll go out of play. Throwing coming up. MLS Soccer Saturday on ESPN2 featuring Brian McLeod and the Columbus Crew hosting Clint Mathis, Eddie Pope, and the Metro Stars today 4 Eastern on ESPN2. Brian McLeod, MLS Player of the Week this past week, a goal and an assist in the win last week over the New England Revolution. McLeod's going to put it back into play for Canada. Canadians played against the USA in the last Algarve Cup, and that ended up 1-1, but Canada scored first, and a late goal by Ali Wagner brought it into a level match.
The perfect position for Canada being in this match so far. They're up early in the game, and they don't have their full squad. You mentioned Charmaine Hooper's not here. Lead goalkeeper's not here. She did not get released from Boston, so a lot of conflicts here, and they weren't able to be here for this Canadian squad. So they're up 1-0 in a great position for them to be in.
Noted also plays for Latham, not here. Late notice, it just didn't work out. Mia Hamm on this corner kick. This portion of the match brought to you by Avaya. Hamm striking it to the middle. Lilly couldn't get it. Parlow did, but it went wide. She was one of the primary targets in the air.
Here we go. Take a look at this defensive restraining line. We've got a bunker defense, 4 players back there, and a ball in. And this is what the U.S. is trying to deal with all game long. It's going to be tough. They've got to do a couple different things. One, combinational play down the center of the field, or long ball serves into a player like Parlow, who's great in the air.
Back to live action. Off one deflection from Parlow. Booth will clear it. She tries to go long. It's brought down by Capt Reddick. Plays for the University of North Carolina. 1 more year to go there. It's a long ball, but it's off the mark. Not even close. 12th minute of play. 1-0 Canada on a Sinclair goal. Today where Christine Lilly picks up her 250th cap. More on Christine coming up at halftime. All set for the goal kick from McLeod. Sent forward. Fawcett is there. On the right side, the long ball from Moscato. Cleared back to Booth. U.S. fighting for it, but Matheson won it. Here's Latham. Sinclair made a run, held it up to stay onside. Now the ball drifts back towards Scurry. Latham coming over from the San Diego Spirit, who released her for this game. Sobrero on the right. Now to MacMillan. Here's Lilly. And the offside flag goes up on the U.S. national team. 13th minute, long ball the other way. The Chastain nods down. The U.S. looking to get control, and they do with Christine Lilly in the middle. Pride of Wilton, Connecticut, plays it all the way to the left. Reddick holds up play, looks for Hamm down the wing, and that goes out of play. A lot of these passes missing in the opening. Maybe USA showing a lack of patience in trying to beat this bunker.
Well, remember we mentioned at the top of the show that one of the goals that April had for her team was that they were going to try and play good possession. They might be forcing it just a little bit. They're in a bit of a panic right now because they are down 1-0 in a tough position to be in this early in the match.
Pass up the wing was blocked, but the Canadians get it back, and they try to exploit that counterattack with either Latham or Sinclair. That time Latham. Foudy looks forward. See Lilly. Down to Fawcett. Joy will hold it up for Kate Sobrero. She plays in the WUSA with the Boston Breakers. This is her third year with them. Foudy to MacMillan. That's broken up. Foul was called on Canada. Christine Lilly, her 250th game with the national team. Julie Foudy reflected on it.
250. She's old. Chrissy. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I told her she's going to get to 500. Why quit now? Go for the 5 century. Right? It's only another 5 years. 10 years?
Julie Foudy reflecting on Christy Lilly's long career. 500 caps. Come on. Never. 15th minute. Ball played across to McLeod. Swiped on it. Comes back at the edge of the 18. And there's some contact inside the box as Sandra Hunt goes against the United States.
Good opportunity here by the U.S. Ball floated into the box, and again Parlow, we keep mentioning her height. They've got to find her head, and I think if they continue to try and do that, that's going to be one of the ways that they can exploit this defense. Set pieces are going to be key, as well as corner kicks. Obviously another set piece, getting Parlow's height in there.
Foudy at the halfway line. Parlow that time was held up by Andrews. Lilly will play it up quickly to Hamm, taking on the defense. Hamm trying to cut it back and drew the foul. About 19 yards away from goal. Well, you don't really want to foul the U.S. players. Not that close.
Here's Hamm. We talked about how she's playing some of the best soccer of her career. She takes on Lang here, young defender, makes an inexperienced move, fouling at the top of the box. The U.S. has so many quality players that can strike this ball. Looks like Shannon MacMillan may take the kick.
About a yard outside the 18-yard box. Wagner's behind her. She'll step over it. MacMillan drives it. MacMillan to the goal. It's 1-1.
Talk about how dangerous this is. MacMillan just has such a rocket shot. This time she kept it down on the face of the goal. And McLeod just didn't know what to do with it. Again, just a great strike. Only taking one step into it and just nails it near post.
How much winning does the Wagner run over the ball, fake out and confuse the goalkeeper?
It does a lot, because it also might move the wall a little bit. It's a disruptive thing, especially Wagner. I mean, we've seen Wagner take those kind of kicks, and she can bend them into the corner as well.
Shannon MacMillan's 55th international goal. Comes at a good time for the USA. We're not generating much offense now. They've tied it at 1. This portion of the match being brought to you by Chevy. Matheson coming back against Parlow. Pulled back by Allie Wagner, #1 draft choice this past year in the WUSA, playing for San Diego. Across the way in the left. Reddick cuts it back. Foudy's there. Foudy, one of 4 players getting ready for her 4th World Cup coming up this fall. Fawcett plays it up for Sobrero. Goes back the other way. Backing up, captain for today, Neil. Their most experienced player on this field anyway. Charmaine Hooper is their most capped player and has the most goals, but was not released for today's game. I mentioned before, doubleheader, Atlanta playing Washington here afterwards. So some of these players may be playing for their WUSA teams after this match.
And that makes it really interesting for April with her substitution pattern. And we heard right before the game that Canada requested only 3 subs because he does come in with a limited squad. The U.S. complied. But probably what we may see is some of these players, like you mentioned, JP, have 2 games. Nice effort by Hamm there. Have 2 games today, and that may dictate who comes off this field for the U.S. And so it's great that they got a goal. They tied this game up. Much better position to be in maybe at halftime when they're maybe going to pull some of these players. Good free kick. Again, we talk about the free kick set pieces. It's going to be critical with this bunker defense. And Hamm really working hard. Nice volley. Keeps it down just right, just to the right side of the goal there. Another yard, it would have been in the upper 90.
Ball from the Canadian side. It goes back towards Fawcett, back to the feet of Scurry. That put her in a dangerous spot.
She handled that very, very well. Scurry's been working on that. That has been one of her big weaknesses in her game. In fact, Mullinix is the best goalkeeper with her feet for this U.S. squad. And Brandon Scurry knows that's a weakness, and she's been working on it.
Lilly squares it to Foudy. Sobrero makes an adjoining run to the right. Sobrero running it to the wing. Ran into 2 Canadian players. The ball goes out. Booth and Matheson with a duo. Booth is just 18, part of that Canadian youth movement. MacMillan plays it back for Foudy. 1-1 match at RFK. Lilly on the left foot, trying to poke it ahead of Wagner. Sasha Andrews will clear. Chastain on the far side. This time off the right foot. Long ball intended for Lilly. Canada will win that. Moscato on the far side. In the middle, Timko. Sinclair. Matheson. Nice one-touch passing from Latham so she can recover. That's a foul and maybe a card. Chastain reached out and brought down Latham. She may be arguing that she was pulled down first, but in the end she could have been carded.
Well, she's got to be careful. She can't retaliate even if she was pulled down first, because this is a dangerous position for Canada to have a free kick from. You see here they're sliding in, and oh yeah, absolutely, Brandy Chastain uses her legs to pull a player down. That's Latham going down. That's not a good move by Chastain to create that foul here at the, I guess it's probably about 35 yards out, 40 yards out.
A couple of players back there for Canada, including Carmelina, Moscato, Kara Lang. This portion of the match being brought to you by Icebreakers. Lang is a threat to score from distance on free kicks. She steps up to it. She's going at goal right off the wall. And all the way to the far side. Reddick will take it. And clear it. At RFK Stadium in our nation's capital, you're looking on at the USA versus Canada. 1-1 match with winning of our Palladino. I'm JP Delacamera. Canada scored first. Sinclair with a goal, and then Shannon MacMillan off of a free kick to tie it at 1.
JP, Canada has been very successful in really exposing the U.S. team when they have a breakdown. The first goal, of course, was a breakdown, ball bouncing behind the defense, not picked up, cleaned up by Chastain. And then on this last attack by Canada, it actually started when Lilly pushed all the way up. The ball didn't get to her, so the U.S. midfield was a little bit exposed, and Canada had 1 or 2, 3, 4 one-touch passes and really created a good chance there.
On the far side, U.S. looking for another one. That's blocked by Canada. Here's Hamm. Played across for Parlow. She can't get it. Wagner will try to settle then juggle. She wants a handball. Won't get the call. Matheson on the run after it. Cut off by Foudy. Right side, MacMillan. Quick pass inside to her San Diego teammate, Wagner. Back for MacMillan. Here's Foudy. Holding. Left side. White flag is up. It's called. It's knocked in anyway. But obviously no goal. Remains at 1 in the 23rd minute.
Canada's really doing a good job pulling the U.S. up. Again, it's when the ball is served there. I think this was the player here, Ali Wagner, that was offsides on the serve. Canada's doing a great job of catching the U.S. players in an offside position. It's really stopped 3 or 4 attacks so far for the United States.
Chastain's in the middle. pass just missed the connection to Lilly. Sinclair heads it over. Spin move. Moscato was dispossessed. USA up for Parlow. Brought it down. Now to the far side. Hands cross. Wagner settles. Foudy steps up. Turns out to be a pretty good ball for Sobrero at the byline for this cross. McLeod tracking it down, headed out by Canada. Chastain coming way in. USA win the ball, but face some pressure. Chastain is a long run back.
JP, Cat Reddick and Kate Sobrero have big roles today because the U.S. midfield is playing in this pinched-in triangular shape. They are really getting a lot of space down the flanks, and we've seen both of them get in the attack. Sobrero on that last chance, and I'd like to see Reddick go up and get in a position to crack one. She can definitely score from way outside.
They will play it up now to Wagner. 1-1 game. That was sweet. Good game. She shows you something else. This is Hamm on the far side. And she couldn't get around that defender because she was taken down by Carol Lang. We'll give the USA another free kick. Lang is a 16-year-old you were talking about. Good defender, but can score goals. Outside Vancouver in the W League. 25th minute. 1-1. Hamm ready for this free kick.
US has some good targets. Number 12, Cindy Parlow. Brandy Chastain as well, number 6.
Hamm drove it in low. Looked like she was looking for Joy Fawcett. Comes back to Wagner. Wide for Hamm. First touch too strong. Playing in that battle for on the far side and clears it up the field where Reddick awaits. Chastain getting the pressure from Latham. That was dangerous. That was a better move on the second one. Wagner's pass. Oh, she had Parlow breaking. Wagner has good vision. She'll oftentimes spot a player open that someone else may not see. Latham on the far side. Double team. Canada's ball on the throw-in. This portion of the match being brought to you by Philips Electronics. 27th minute. This young Canadian squad giving a good account of themselves here in the early going. Had the lead, but the USA came back. Here is Canada. In red on the attack. Matheson. Bounced off Foudy's challenge. The quickness of Matheson there as he's knocked out of place. She's only 5'1", but very quick.
Seeing her out there reminded me of Tracy Bates, now Tracy Leone. She was we called her the 4'11" tiny Terminator. Boy, could she play.
This one is knocked away by Reddick. Far side, Rustad's pass up is blocked and it'll come back. Canada tried to push it up and the offside flag went up on Latham, who was down the middle. Scurry gets ready to put it back into play. The Canadian team has only had a couple of days of training. We mentioned a late replacement for Nigeria, but they were told as of a week ago when Nigeria failed to come to Canada or to come to the U.S. to play Canada in a couple of games that they might have to replace them for this game. So Evan Pellerud had players on standby, but realistically, Tuesday, Wednesday, he's scrambling on the phone to get these players here.
JP, interestingly as well, they were supposed to have 2 friendlies against Nigeria. I believe it was last weekend, and didn't get either of those games in. So I know Evan Pellerud has got to be excited to have this match, even though he doesn't have his full squad.
No flag is up. USA onside. It's Lilly looking, and on the turn, uses the left foot for the cross. It's beyond Hamm's reach. Reddick with a very long run won't be able to get to that. It goes out of play. Later today, don't miss conference semifinal action from the Stanley Cup playoffs on ABC, presented by Nextel. The NHL's best take the next step in their quest for the most coveted trophy in sports. Live at 3 Eastern on ABC Sports Championship Television. But Anaheim winning in 5 overtimes the other night in Dallas. Chastain now for Foudy. Played off nicely for Julie Foudy. Feed from Hamm. From Parlow, back for Hamm. May makes a quick step, lets it fly, but it's blocked by Andrews, and she'll feel that one. Sobrero to MacMillan. Tries to run inside of Booth. Good defensive positioning, although Booth gives up a corner. She wouldn't let MacMillan turn and cross. Andrews was the one that stopped that drive from Mia Hamm, and she'll be feeling it for a little while longer from SMU. Those Mustangs. We have quite a few of these Canadian players, including McLeod, who plays for the U.S. college team. McLeod also for SMU. Moscato plays for Penn State. Here's MacMillan on the corner. Hamm sends it back in, and it's right to McLeod. The U.S. was looking for a deflection.
Not a bad idea by Hamm. Instead of actually taking a pretty hard strike on goal, she goes ahead and sets it right in that space there so that McLeod would have to play it. Typically, Joy Fawcett is in that position right there trying to shield the goalkeeper, and a lot of times we've seen Joy get goals off of that. Just a quick little deflection. Fortunately, she was a little bit out of position on that redirect.
Far side, Wagner brings it up. At that time, miscommunication with her and Hamm on that far side, and it goes out. Talked about Allie Wagner for years, but actually April Heinrichs had her with the under-16 national team and knew she would become a great player at the age of 16. And now Wagner headed in that direction at the age of 22.
And she's just so critical in this U.S. midfield, and see her in a starting role here. And you got to figure that this is a pretty solid position for her at a very young age, and without too many caps relative to the other players out on this field, she is really making an impact.
She becomes a vital player. We're in the 30th minute. 1-1. A couple of nice goals here.
And Canada started off early. Great ball in here, right behind the U.S. defense. U.S. doesn't play it, but Sinclair, you don't want her running free at the top of the box, and she finishes it in world-class style. Here's Hamm taking on top of the box. MacMillan nails the free kick, and a 1-1 tie.
At RFK, it's Canada in red, playing it long. Chastain back to cover against Latham. Trying to head it forward. There's no U.S. help there defensively, so Canada gets it back. Moscato drives it long for Sinclair in the air. Matheson made a good run to support her, but won't get the ball. As Sobrero clears it long. Parlow on a bounce. Could she get it? She does. She cracks it. What a save by McLeod. Parlow didn't really try to chip it so much as blast it. Good shot. Better save.
Absolutely incredible. Parlow takes one half look. That's a big-time look. Very subtle look by Parlow. Look at this Sobrero ball out of the back. Just drops in behind the defense. Parlow has already taken her look. She knows the goalkeeper is committed, and whoa, what a save she has to make, backpedaling, and McLeod comes up with the save.
This portion of the match being brought to you by Gatorade, fourth USA corner, and MacMillan will take it. Plays it short. Lilly back to MacMillan. Then the cross. Canada wins out of the air and clears it out. Pushed up by Sobrero. No flag up, and Foudy took a shot. Apparently, Chastain was ruled to be not interfering with the play because she was a few steps over and beyond Foudy.
Or did he miss it?
Well, one of the two.
Evan Pellerud is down there arguing with the sideline referee.
That is the definition of passive offside, if that's what was called or not called.
Here it's coming out of the U.S. defense. Here's Sobrero's great ball. This is the last attack where Parlow got the shot off. She's already taken her look. She knows the keeper's committed. And look at this one-touch volley. Oh, almost roofed it. McLeod comes up big, backpedaling for the save. Very well played.
Flags up this time. Mia Hamm. So the U.S. guilty of another offside here in the 32nd minute. 1-1 at RFK. USA getting ready for the next World Cup. Preparing totally different now that there's a WUSA. Before, players would be in residency. Now you're taking them off WUSA teams, much like U.S. men do, taking them off MLS clubs. We've only got a few days to get things together.
Well, the interesting thing is they're going to have to really take care of their bodies. You talk about the true sense of professional athletes. They got to know their bodies. I bring that up because they're going to come off of a season. If you remember last year when they came off of the WUSA season, they were exhausted. So they have got to monitor themselves. That's one of the interesting things that Coach Heinrichs is having to deal with today is some of our players have to play in potentially another 90 minutes, either today or tomorrow.
You mentioned, too, that some of the players will be playing in the second game of today's doubleheader. Some are getting on airplanes to play later tonight. Here's a lead pass up for Wagner. Intended for Parlow. Parlow will get to it. Hooks it ahead. Hamm got behind the defense. The cutback in front. Parlow is there with Slaton. Behind her, quick shot. Lilly. 2-1. The U.S.
I mentioned one of the ways to beat a bunker defense is combinational play up the center of the field, and that's exactly what the U.S. did. Take a look here. Wagner starts it. Take a look here. Parlow finds Hamm through. Hamm looks up. Great ball across the box. Cindy misses it. And Lilly's on the backside. Good organization in the box. Very sharp around the net, which is one of the goals that April Heinrichs had for this match. Great finish by Christine Lilly.
We're back to Sobrero, who actually started. About 5 USA players involved in the eventual goal. Lawson knocks it out of play here in the 34th minute.
Take a look here. It's Parlow who finds Hamm in, and look at Hamm. She runs on the edge of the line there. She looks up. She doesn't have a shot. Puts it right back across the box. Parlow almost has a chance to finish it, and Lilly's organizing on the backside and just nails it. Nice volley over the defense. That was one of the prettiest goals I've seen from an organizational standpoint by the U.S. all year long. 2
players on Parlow that gave Lilly the space. Someone forgot to close down. Queen of caps. Corner kick now for Canada there first. Lilly at the near post. Remember that great save in the 1999 World Cup. It was headed for goal from China. Played all the way across. Latham trying to come around on it. Here's Sinclair. A rare miss hit for her. Canada could have tied the game there on either of those 2 chances. Coming up at halftime, a look at Christine Lilly and her career. Nice feature in the net with Kate Sobrero and our first half highlights. Christine's goal, the go-ahead goal right now, is the USA have a 2-1 lead. Ryan Scurry putting it back in play off the right-footed boot. Settled by Wagner. Up for Hamm, down for Parlow. Quick give and go. But that pass too far off the mark, and McLeod got to it. Hamm tried to get that. That ball was outside of the box, it looked like, for a brief moment. It's important for Canada to settle things down now that they are trailing for the first time here.
And again, McLeod getting a huge game here against the U.S. She's normally the backup, or one of the backups. She's only actually got 7 caps for Canada, so a big drop-off between the starting keeper and the backups.
Wagner. All the way to the far side. Chastain with a long run to get there. Tempted on the ground, but it's too far in front of Reddick. Out for a throw-in. Lang on the throw-in. USA will get it back with Lilly. Ball is cleared away by Canada. Long for Latham. Trying to catch up to it, and now does. And then Chastain just won it, took it away and cleared. Wagner, great touch back to Foudy to help the offense go forward. It's MacMillan. Foudy. Right side, Parlow. Wagner was making a great run down the middle. Parlow, I believe she was trying to cut that ball to Wagner. She wasn't going to score from there, but the pass is off the mark and right to the goalkeeper.
Parlow was trying to make an early pass behind the defense bending, but just a little bit too deep in.
Clearance from McLeod. It deflects free. Look at Latham in that speed, and she almost busted past 2 U.S. defenders. Scurry will clear that.
Again, well played by Scurry. She's really working on her foot skills.
MacMillan. Running past Matheson. Nice move. Veteran Shannon MacMillan with this cross in front. Hit! Great save, McLeod! That might be the best save of the game. I'm torn between that one and Parlow's, but that time you have the world's best goal score coming right down in on you.
Absolutely beautiful work here by MacMillan. She fights through the defensive pressure. Great ball driven with a little bit of bend on it. Hamm just attacks it, and McLeod comes up huge. McLeod is in the right place, comes up with a big-time save, and that is just well executed. Beautiful play.
5th save, and 2 of them at least spectacular. Chastain. Play it left. In the box it goes. Intended for MacMillan. It'll go out. It'll be a goal kick. For the USA national team, we mentioned they're going to be playing several games now before the World Cup, and the difference in these venues, all new stops for the U.S. national team: Birmingham, Alabama, Salt Lake City, Utah, and New Orleans, Louisiana. Familiar foes, but new venues. England's also going to play the Canadians after they play that game with the USA. They're going to play them twice, once in Hamilton, Ontario, once in Ottawa. Here's MacMillan cutting it back to Sobrero. 39th minute here. Who's going to have momentum going into the locker room at halftime? We're headed towards the latter stages of this first half. Fawcett and Chastain. Both now in their mid-30s. Both still going strong. Hamm from the left. Giving her too much room. She lay it up. Looking to draw the foul. Cindy Parlow, but didn't get the call. Lang will push it back. Canada's pretty much stayed with those 5 in the back. Haven't changed much since it started. Sobrero has to wait for that ball. Back should get it from Foudy. Pass into the middle. Lilly up for Wagner. The Canadians retreat. You can see them. Flat 5, and they're all going back at once.
And those are the areas where the U.S. needs to be just a little bit more patient. Wagner trying to bend the ball out to MacMillan on the flank. Just needs to be a little bit more patient, make sure that she connects. The problem is the U.S. is really pushing a lot of players up from the midfield, and they become very vulnerable on counterattacks. They don't get back on defense.
Far side, Canada with possession. Switching it across, Matheson trying to flick that down and expected Sinclair to make the run, and neither worked out. And Scurry bringing it up. Cut it across. 41st minute. USA up 2-1 over Canada. These are their leaders. Wagner 4 of the team, 7 assists. Coming into this game, 3 players each had a couple of goals. Here's MacMillan, and that's knocked out. And Mac will now become their leading goal scorer for this year with a goal that she just scored earlier. Corner kick coming up for the United States. Hamm brings you this portion of the match. 5th USA corner. Near post, watched by Booth. MacMillan drives it right at the near post. Thought Fawcett touched it last, but apparently not. They're saying corner kick, so off Canada. 6th corner now for the U.S. Clouds played well so far, otherwise it would be a bigger USA lead. MacMillan played it low. Fawcett back, he'll flick, quick shot, Foudy, and it goes in. USA leads 3-1. They sure changed the look in that second corner.
Well, they've been mixing it up a bit, and if that's something that they've been practicing, wow, what a weapon. Great ball in here to Fawcett, just flicks it. And there's Foudy in a supporting role. Again, beautiful. Look at this flick right there. Oh, great play. Lilly steps out of the way and gives Foudy the nod. She's facing the goal, and she finishes on McLeod.
So the captain scores in the 42nd minute. The USA have taken a 2-goal lead against the young Canadians. Keep in mind, 2 of these goals off the set pieces for the U.S. So even against the 5-person bunker, they can make it happen elsewhere.
Right, JP. In a bunker defenses are tough to beat, and set pieces are always important in any game, but even more important when you're trying to face a bunker defense, because you're not going to get the other typical scoring chances that you might normally get.
Lilly, 250th appearance, has already scored 1 goal. So is Julie Foudy and Shannon MacMillan. USA with 3 consecutive goals after Christine Sinclair opened things up in the 7th minute. McLeod will play it up. Fawcett won that in the air. Wagner cutting on Andrews. try to lead it for Hamm, and it's just off target. Lang is going to let it roll out for a Canadian throw-in. That one drew it out. Lilly was involved in that hard challenge against Moscato on that far side. The foul was called, not the throw-in. In the 44th minute, USA with a 2-goal lead after trailing early. They will go long. Maybe Neal is pushed up on that. Timko played it over. Try to reach Latham in front. Latham with a hard challenger against Chastain. Canada getting it back, winning it with physical play. Sending the wide of Scurry. Andrea Neal wearing that captain's band. Played in the last World Cup for Canada. Qualified, by the way, for their 3rd straight World Cup. Off Parlow. Comes back. Fawcett. Sobrero for MacMillan on the turn. She got clipped by Booth. And MacMillan's still down, and Sandra Hunt's either giving a warning or a card here to Melanie Booth. It's a card. So it's the first yellow card issued today by the veteran, respected referee, Sandra Hunt. Played long by Sobrero. Headed down in the box. It's still loose. Canada will clear. Comes back to Matheson. He pass up for Latham, double team. The strength of Latham fighting off a couple of challenges. Now Matheson to the bump from Wagner. Big recovery there, and USA get it back after all that hard work though from Latham.
He found he does a good job just composing the ball very nicely, getting a sense of calm back in her team.
Canada looking to unleash Latham down the middle, but that time the USA had 3 players coming back. We're in stoppage time. See a signal in terms of how much they would put on, but obviously not much because the final whistle blows, and after a slow start, USA have to be encouraged by a 3-1 lead.
Going into halftime, great position to be in. Obviously battle back through some opposition being down early in the first half.
Christine Lilly will be the focus of one of our halftime segments, so we hope you will stick around for that as she has scored 1 of the USA's 3 goals today. It's the USA 3 and Canada 1 here at halftime at RFK Stadium. Keep it here. We're coming back with Christine Lilly.
On y'all, let's the bold fruit taste of Jolly Rancher.
We're at halftime of the match between the USA and Canada on a day where Christine Lilly picks up her 250th cap. What a player Christine Lilly has been for the USA national team. You know, she's played on this team since she was a teenager. Now she's over the age of 30, but still going strong. Here's a special look at a great USA player.
In the beginning, I didn't enjoy the media because I didn't quite understand you guys. Because you wanted me to stand out, and I didn't think that was right in a team aspect.
However, Christine Lilly did stand out, becoming one of the best players in the world.
She's versatile and tactical. Psychologically, she's a competitor. She's strong-willed. She'll battle. She'll never give up. She has a lot of pride.
Lil is one of those players, I mean, I think she has like 7,000 caps, you know, probably more than most of the other nations have that we play against. And she is, you know, like Joy. Those two are very similar to me in that they're so underrated.
She might be underrated, but her teammates appreciate how good she is.
She creates both, you know, chances for others, getting down the left side all the time. You know she's going to get there and get around those defenders all the time. And you got to be there in the box for her. So she creates tons. And her work rate makes everyone else want to work harder.
She makes everyone around her better and has left a lasting impression.
She's someone, you know, when I'm playing out wide, is someone that I can look to as a great role model because she's just so unbelievable and one of the best in the world. So it's an honor to have her as a teammate.
Congratulations, Christine Lilly, on 250 caps. When we come back, Kate Sobrero and highlights.
Welcome back to the Haviland 500 and check.
And Canada time now for our special feature in the net. Let's put Kate Sobrero in charge of this one.
Hi, I'm Kate Sobrero. I'm a defender for the U.S. Women's National Team, and I'm this week's host for In the Net. Let's get you up to date with what's going on with our men's and women's national team. Our under-20 men's national team qualified for the World Cup last November. They were supposed to play in March, but unfortunately got postponed to November-December of 2003.
They'll still be playing these games, only later this year. Paraguay, South Korea, and Germany will be the opponents for the under-20 men.
Our U.S. men's national team has a big game on May 8th on ESPN2. They play Mexico, who they last faced in the World Cup and beat 2-0. It's guaranteed to be a hard-fought physical match.
Great crowd expected for that. You can watch it live now on ESPN2 on May 8th.
We qualified for the World Cup last November. And since the last time you saw us on TV, Australia has also. Here's a list of the other teams that have qualified for the 2003 Women's World Cup.
What a list. Brazil is the most recent one that has qualified. The interesting thing to note when Kate was talking about Australia, if the Women's World Cup is moved from China because of the SARS virus, the likely place, from what everyone is saying, is Australia.
I hope you've enjoyed this segment of In the Net, which is something I don't know really anything about because I'm the only player for the U.S. Women's National Team never to have scored a goal. But stay tuned, maybe one day I will.
Kate, don't be so hard on yourself. You didn't score in the first half of this game either, but you helped the offense. USA leading Canada 3-1. When do we have some good highlights?
Oh, some great highlights. I'll tell you, U.S. is finding the back of the net in so many different ways. But Canada got on the board early, put the U.S. in a vulnerable position here with a great ball behind the defense. And look who's there, Sinclair at the top of the box. Scurry's committed. World-class finish, lower left-hand corner. But then the U.S. gets on the board. Hamm takes on top of the box. And MacMillan just nails it. McLeod can't handle it. And it's 1-1. Next goal here comes, or actually next opportunity. Kate Sobrero, beautiful ball. She's having a great game today. Parlow takes a look, sees the keeper out. Great volley. McLeod is backpedaling, making the save, and another great attack here. And this one ends up in the back of the net. Lilly organizing on the back post. And look at this chance here by Hamm. That's a ball by Shannon MacMillan. McLeod has had a great first half, but she can't stop Foudy on this chance, and it's 3-1 USA.
So the USA will go to the locker room at halftime with some momentum and a 3-1 lead. We'll see what changes may be made before the second half begins.
Okay, remember, Kathy's not crazy about you, so be cool.
Look, if I say anything stupid, just kick me.
Hey, hi! How are you doing?
So, Kathy, is it just me, or have you put on weight?
Bud Light, proud sponsor of Julie Foudy and the U.S. Women's National Team.
We're going to Bud Light?
Welcome back to the Haviland 500 and checking the Haviland running order. The Haviland 42 car is moving up.
Yeah, boy, take a look at that Haviland Speedo and Haviland tack on McMurray's ride.
Let's time this lap with a Haviland stopwatch.
That Haviland temperature gauge says his engine's running good.
It's time to pay some bills. Folks, this race is brought to you by,
Texaco Express Lube, featuring Haviland. I tell you what, it's easy to see why Jamie's doing so well.
And thanks for these beautiful overhead shots from the Haviland blimps.
Whatever your groove, we'll be there.
Hey, Linda, check it out. Who am I?
Brett Favre. Gail Sayers.
Nope.
Hey, Matt, can we do this inside? I'm really kind of
Who am I?
Fran Tarkenton.
No.
Dick Butkus. All right, I give up, Matt.
Ernest Borgnine, an ice station zebra.
Time Time Warner Cable presents Movies in the Park. Enjoy your favorite movies as never before. Under the Stars at Republic Square Park at 4th and Guadalupe. Join us May 21st for the Marilyn Monroe classic, The 7-Year Itch. On May 28th, we'll present the action-packed classic, Back to the Future. Bring your blankets and chairs and enjoy these free family events. Movies in the Park is brought to you by Time Warner Cable and benefits the Austin Parks Foundation. For more information, visit our website at timewarneraustin.com.
Hi, I'm Avril Lavigne.
AOL Broadband.
Hi, I'm Faith Hill.
Get up close and personal with your favorite artists. Sessions at AOL.
Hey, this is Josh Groban.
Radio at AOL. Over 175 channels of CD quality music.
Mouse in the air from side to side and rock with me.
And Broadband Rocks, AOL's weekly concert series. All this music and more only on AOL Broadband.
Today's match is being brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. By Texaco Express Lube, the smartest thing you'll ever do for your car. And by Chevy, the cars you can depend on, the cars that last, will be there.
Foudy and Fawcett are out.
April Heinrichs in the locker room at halftime.
Right away, we're going to, like a hot knife through butter, we're going to get behind them quickly. We're not going to let them sit up. We're not going to let them get their pride on the top of the penalty box. So, transition, like a hot knife through butter. If you're facing the game and they're coming at you and you win it, can you go forward, penetrative early? Doesn't have to be a big ball, doesn't have to be a great ball, right? Just forward early to get out these two players, take the first two out of it. Okay? Now, an extreme example of great transition is a ball that Kate gets over the top from Fry. She whacks it up there. CP's running on again behind it, and CP whacks it. Two passes were around the frame, and she's doing this and praying that that ball goes over the bar and not under the bar. Okay? That's quick transition.
And Wendy, even with a 2-goal lead here, April Heinrichs still concerned about that bunker defense from Canada.
Well, she is, and she says she doesn't want to let Canada, get any chances, tighten up on the defense, but she's also talking about continuing to attack them, which I love to hear. She talks about good penetrating passes. Face the game. If you get faced up and you see an early chance like Sobrero found Parlow on, go ahead and take that. So they're not backing off. They're going to try and get some more goals.
This portion of the match being brought to you by Bud Light as Parlow takes it to the byline, tries to cut it back. Hucles, one of two replacements, had it knotted down, and it's stopped by McLeod in goal. Angela Hucles and Danielle Slaton. A couple of the changes made for the USA squad with Joy Fawcett and Julie Foudy going out, so that will affect the way the team plays. And looks like Sobrero is going to go in the middle.
Right, she's in the middle with Brandy Chastain, and Reddick has moved over to the right-hand side. The midfield stays basically the same, except for Hucles has come in for Foudy in the right defensive midfield position.
So even though Hucles is in for Fawcett, she's not playing in that same position. USA just changing things up. Here's the clearance. Going long the other way. Canada having to defend. MacMillan tried to play it back. There was nobody there with her. 1 against 4, maybe 5.
Well, she was actually trying to do what Parlow had done in the first half, is get a great volley on it. McLeod was running backtracking to her own goal, and she was trying to lift it over her head. Just mishit it.
USA will switch it away. One of the things that April Heinrichs likes to talk about is the versatility of this team. So she's able to put a Sobrero back in the center of that defense. Pretty much every player can play more than one position now for the USA, which is a plus. MacMillan. And that's broken up. And it's going to be cleared out of play. Halftime numbers certainly had to favor the USA. Remember how many chances they had against the goalkeeper McLeod. Actually 12 shots, and many of those made it to goal. Unofficially, we had McLeod credited with 5 saves. USA had the edge in corner kicks as well. Just 11 fouls. And the 1 yellow card went to Melanie Booth of Canada. On the right side, ball is played long. McLeod's right there again. McLeod listed at 5'7" out of Calgary, Alberta. Going long with it. USA trying to get it back, and they do for the moment. Parlow and Wagner there. Parlow down the middle. The offside flag is up. Hamm was busting it on the right side.
really playing on the edge of the line here as the ball's served. Hamm's in that offsides position there, just getting in a little bit too quick. With her speed, she can delay a half step and keep herself on sides. Nice ball with the outside of Parlow's right foot to bend it into Hamm's run.
All these offside calls, Wendy, because USA are maybe trying too much to go transition?
Well, it's a good sign. I think they're very eager to be on the attack and make the most of it. You mentioned, you talked to Coach April Heinrichs, and she said one of the goals of this match was to be very polished in and around the net, and we've seen that from them. So you know they're trying to get in and make the most of their chances.
Hucles, the touchback, Wagner looking, can't find it. Here's Hucles, who plays for the Boston Breakers outside. MacMillan, that has broken up. And Canada will let it go out because they believe it's a goal kick. USA thought it was a corner, but it is a goal kick. 3-1, USA leading. Tonight, the NBA playoffs will continue on ESPN. See more first-round action at 10 Eastern. Chris Webber, Sacramento Kings meeting Karl Malone, John Stockton, and the Utah Jazz. The NBA postseason on ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. McLeod putting it down. Kara Lang right behind her, ready to put this ball back into play for the Canadians, who led 1-0 on an early goal by Christine Sinclair. This is Parlow, broken up there by Andrews. Her pass got away from two players, Matheson and Sinclair, for USA throw-in. Canada only have 4 available subs, and right now all 4 are up stretching behind the Canadian bench, actually off to the side of it. Made it by Timko, into the middle. Moscato, try to return it to Timko. Broken up, this is Hucles. Left side, Parlow, blocked out. See a throw-in for the USA. Slaton, who plays for Carolina of the WUSA, went long in the throw-in, but couldn't find the right target. She'll get another go at it. Out of Santa Clara University, another great women's program out there.
Slaton had knee surgery in the offseason, so she's still trying to get back on top of her game. The last time the U.S. was together, they figured her at about 65% of her game, and she's continuing to make improvement.
This portion of the match being brought to you by Avaya. Allie Wagner will play it back on the right. The Reddick pass up. Blocked, defended well by Canada. Try to go on their counterattack. Played up for Latham. Try to get away from Sobrero. That's blocked, and it's coming all the way back the other way. Booth is on the left. Looks to cross it, and that's wide of Brian Scurry and out for a goal kick. You had mentioned before, Wendy, that they changed the ruling on the subs. As we look at Brian Scurry's record, #1, that's among the women and men goalkeepers for the USA. But the game plan was to have Scurry play 45 minutes and Mullinix the other 45. And I'm assuming that when they changed and went with the 3 subs, that changed the goalkeeper rotation.
Right. I mean, obviously, the U.S. wants to have the option to, if one of the field players, goes down with an injury, they want to be able to have an extra field player that they can sub. Obviously, that's a smart move not to use all 3. We saw Lilly get a little banged up in an earlier play here in the second half, so you just never know. You want to keep that option open.
If you missed out on that earlier, on these games you dress 18, and usually they'll have unlimited subs, but because the Canadians only really had 4 players, they were shorthanded, they were unable to compete the same way, so they asked for the United States if they would go with 3 subs, and the USA complied. But that obviously affected the substitution pattern and takes away some flexibility from April Heinrichs to give everybody a chance here.
It does, and as we mentioned, they've only got 4 more games until the World Cup because their WUSA seasons are so long, and will take them all the way into August. So they don't; these other players don't have a lot of chances to get together and with the team and show what they can do.
Played long in the air. Neal got a deflection, and it goes out. Referee's assistant pointing to the corner. So Canada will have an opportunity here. And let's see what they do on this corner kick and how they try to get involved there with Brian Scurry. Wagner at the near post.
One of the things the U.S. has been trying to do is to tighten up on that near post. They've given away some goals. One key goal in Portugal in the Algarve. Now they got 2 players there on that near post, just trying to button it up a little bit.
Driven by Moscato. And Neal tried to get it. Couldn't get to it in time. Hamm was one who was taken down there. Up on the left side. MacMillan waits for the help. It's Hucles, who has good speed on that flank, but MacMillan's double teamed. She comes away with the ball. She did well not to lose possession there. Slaton. It's not a good idea on that pass. Canada had some numbers there, and here they come. Timko's pass up for Latham. Slaton is back there to defend, and she swept it away, so she recovered it, Tony, for miscue.
Well, I was watching her, JP, after she gave that away. She made sure that she busted back to help her teammates, because obviously she created a counterattack for Canada.
Just the ball that she forced, but good recovery. Here is Canada, showing a little bit more here on the ball at the start of the second half, knowing that one goal that they could score could make this a different game. USA leading 3-1. Some great goals scored here today after they were down by 1.
Some of these goals could make the all-time highlight reel. Shannon MacMillan converting on a Hamm foul at the top of the box. Beautiful ball across here by MacMillan, and Lilly organizes on the back post. And here, this final one, Julie Foudy taking it. She's got the look on the goal. Lilly leaves it, and Foudy scores. U.S. came up with 3 beautiful goals in the first half after being down 1-0.
Sobrero coming back to defend. The Reddick clearance. Up into space, MacMillan. She's got a chip McLeod, and she beats her. A mistake by the Canadian keeper. And veterans like Shannon MacMillan know how to make it pay. For second of the game.
Shannon MacMillan is playing a great match today. Reddick, look at this ball, dropping it in here. Gets flicked to MacMillan, who sees that McLeod is out, and she has a beautiful ball, just tucks it right in. And that's our look. Take a look here from the Philips Electronics goal cam. Again, McLeod just getting caught way off the line, and MacMillan finishes it with flair. Beautiful, beautiful finish.
The young goalkeeper making a critical error there after all the big saves that she's made today. Lead pass, MacMillan looking for a hat trick if she could get in, but she had help. Wagner nearly got to that ball first on the far side. So Shannon MacMillan, who is the reigning U.S. Soccer Female Athlete of the Year, the leading scorer last year with 17 goals, has become the team's leading scorer again this year. It's a good time to have her find her shooting range.
You got to figure that Cindy Parlow's chance in the first half was like a clinic for the rest of her teammates. They realized, hey, let's take a look and see if McLeod's cheating off her line. Go ahead and take that half chance. And MacMillan tried it earlier in the game, but she had a lot of pressure around her and didn't get that shot off with her left foot, if you remember, early in the second half.
Well, MacMillan's shot had some power. It was not as strong as Parlow's was, but she did lift it over. It was a nice chip. USA now with possession. Once more to Slaton. This portion of the match being brought to you by Icebreakers. Timko in the middle. Now the clearance intended for Latham, trying to bust down that middle, but it's going to go all the way back to Brianna Scurry. Hamm way on top with 138. Tiffany Milbrett should be the next one to reach 100. Lilly was 10 away until today, and now MacMillan catching up to Parlow as this ball is cleared out of play. You wonder about the goals and the caps. If any of these young players will ever touch these records, they'd have to play 15 years like these players have. That's why I don't think any of these records are going to be broken. 250 caps over 15 years, and now with the WUSA involved, maybe USA is not going to play as many games like they used to, so that opportunity goes by as well.
One of those statistics that is so neat to point out is that, one second here, is Akers being up there in the category. You got to remember, back in the day, the U.S. didn't play, in those early years, the U.S. just didn't play that many games a year. She still had the impact on the game that she did.
Sandra Hunt looking over to the bench because Canada wants to make their first substitution. And Latham is the one that's going to come out. And Amber Allen, number 9, is getting ready to come on. So Latham, who plays for San Diego, I think Evan Pellerud probably appreciated the fact that they allowed her to come here and play for Canada. And coming on now is Amber Allen. McLeod made a mistake on the last one, but overall today, some big saves for Canada.
She gets the start here with LeBlanc not getting called in from Boston and has come up huge, just making save after save. Some spectacular saves like this one on Hamm that have been key factors in keeping the ball out of the net early on for Canada.
A couple of subs up for the USA as the ball is played into Hamm. There's a rebound, but she couldn't get to it. McLeod again, as Booth will get it. So Tiffany Milbrett up and Heather O'Reilly, high school player from New Jersey, warming up. So one of those two presumably would be the third USA sub. And final one. Sobrero will play it up on the right. USA now leading 4-1 in the 59th minute from RFK Stadium. Heavy rain earlier this morning, but the weather is held up, at least the bad weather for now. Wagner to Hamm. Hamm will hold, plays it back for Hucles. The cut for Wagner couldn't get around Matheson, and it's cleared back. You can see there one Canadian and count of 5 USA players are back.
And the one Canadian up top is Sinclair, so the U.S. defense is going to have to really keep an eye on her. She is unbelievably dangerous, and she showed us that in the first half on that goal.
Looks like she has taken Latham's spot up there, and Allen will probably play in Latham's role. Right now, Allen's out on the wing. Sinclair up top. Back to McLeod. And McLeod will play it up towards the halfway line and beyond. Slaton won that in the air. Just to Parlow, bringing it down. Cindy Parlow tried to play it to the left where Slaton was making the run, but Amber Allen had her all tied up. MLS Soccer Saturday, ESPN2 featuring Brian McBride and the Columbus Crew. They're going up against the Metro Stars today, 4 Eastern on ESPN2. Columbus Crew already with a couple of wins and a draw in their first 3. Some people predicting them to win the Eastern Conference. Good start for them. USA will play it up towards Wagner. And this will go out of play. Canadians do play a physical style of play, even their younger players. Much like the Norway team that Evan Pellerud used to coach. These players will battle for every ball, regardless of score. Sobrero in the back. Going long towards MacMillan. It can be tough to stretch a 5-person defense in the back because they're literally covering the entire width of the field back there.
Well, they are, and the front runners for the United States, Hamm, Parlow, MacMillan, are having trouble getting in behind them. But where we saw the most success in the first half was on set pieces, and a couple good opportunities on long balls into Parlow's head. But the biggest thing was really converting on set pieces and counterattack goals, catching the keeper off her line.
Scurry in the back. Sobrero, Hucles back and forth. And upfield, Hamm was the closest to it, but not close enough. Clearance from Neal. Knotted down by Sinclair. Amber Allen and Slaton did well to get between player and the ball and clear it. Slaton again with a block. Parlow to Wagner, pulling it back again for Angela Hucles, who played for April Heinrichs at the University of Virginia, now reunited with her ex-college coach here on the national team. The run by Hamm, played up for MacMillan, and it's blocked and cleared by Canada. Slaton heads it down towards Parlow. Draws 2 defenders. Lang wins the ball. Gets it upfield to Moscato. Moscato pass is blocked by Reddick. Run down by Sinclair and then pushed back. Neal to Booth on the outside. Canada will try the long ball to Amber Allen. There's one in the air and rejected. Chastain sent it the other way. Time got behind Chastain. Off a flick back the other way. Allen holds. Matheson wanted to get that one closer towards Scurry. Matheson trying to beat Lilly there with quickness. Tough to do. Christine Lilly won't let her by. Good second effort from Matheson, and then the double team knocked out for a corner kick. Canada with one of the rare opportunities today, only their 3rd one.
Canada has some great height in the box. Kara Lang, number 15 on the backside. You got to wonder if they're not going to float the ball into her.
Sub for the U.S., Heather O'Reilly will come in for Mia Hamm. The ovation is for Mia Hamm, who plays for the Washington Freedom, so she probably has more fans here than any other player, but you could say that about any city that the U.S. women's national team travels to. And Heather O'Reilly, remember the name if you don't know it already. Next year, her first year in college at UNC, but what a great high school player, and she's already trying to make her mark internationally. Off that corner, down the middle, maybe a chance here, but O'Reilly actually got in the way. Canada looking more. Still up the middle, Allen couldn't get it. Knocked down. Timko was the player that O'Reilly was restricting, so she couldn't get a shot off initially. Scurry with an easy grab. And the USA come back.
And this is the area in the first half, is outside flank runs that the U.S. had so much success on. They really were disrupting Canada's defensive style.
That again, you could see 1 against 5, which would have really added insult to injury had MacMillan won that ball.
Right, tough odds to battle, but MacMillan, if she had won it, you would have bet she'd already seen McLeod way off her line, and she might have tried to pop it over her head again.
Visions of the hat trick dancing in her mind, perhaps. Slaton's pass up, blocked by Moscato. Hucles will get it. Switch to the right side. Parlow is after it. Cut inside. Parlow waits for some help. That run not timed. You had Wagner there and O'Reilly as well. 65th minute. Parlow at one time one of the kids, now one of the veterans.
At such a young age, she's having such a huge impact on this game.
I'd say she's a veteran. She's 25 in May, but she's been around for a long time. Like many of her teammates, well over 100 caps. The Matheson ball, cleared by Chastain. Here's Christine Lilly holding for Hucles to the right side, and that one goes out of play. Throw-in coming up for Canada. 66th minute. USA up 4-1. MacMillan has scored a couple of goals. USA will push it forward. MacMillan, O'Reilly, good idea on that touch. Wagner and O'Reilly, 2 against 5. Intended for O'Reilly. Look at her fight off one challenge. She almost got around the veteran Neal. It's cleared out. Fresh legs and some strength will help you out. This portion of the match being brought to you by Philips Electronics. Off a block. Canada will get it back. O'Reilly, one of those players, Wendy, that really wants to make an impact, and she has from now to the 90-minute mark to try to show something.
And it is nice to have fresh legs like O'Reilly's come into the match, because what she's known for is her explosion and speed. She's one of the fastest players on this U.S. squad. Takes her a step or two to get going, but once she gets going, forget about it. She puts her head down kind of like a bull in a china shop, reckless abandon in the box, and makes a lot of opportunities out of that.
She's one of those players that has a shot at making the next World Cup team, and certainly you would think for the Olympics after that in 2004.
No doubt that Heather O'Reilly is the name of the future. I want to point out one thing. When she came into the match, it looks to me like Parlow is dropping back into the right midfield position. So one of the things I was thinking that Canada had done better in the second half is they're putting players in those positions that we were attacking out of. Obviously, Reddick and Sobrero coming down the flanks very successfully. Now they're putting players in those positions. So it looks like Parlow's dropping back a little bit to help back on defense.
Lang's pass deflected out by MacMillan. We're going to see another Canada substitution. Wilkinson, making her international debut, will replace Moscato. And for Rianne Wilkinson, number 7, 20-year-old out of the University of Tennessee. Just looking for it on the back. That's Slaton. Part of the future, also part of the present for the USA. Sobrero back in the middle where she used to play for this team, going long for MacMillan. beating the defenders back, but didn't have enough of the shot when all was said and done. And she's unhappy about that because she did get to the ball.
She read it well. She just didn't hit it right. She was, again, McLeod was off her line. She was just going to try and take one touch, pop it over her head. Could be a little fatigue maybe setting in for Shannon MacMillan. She's had a great game today. She's run so hard all game long and been involved in every goal.
Here's MacMillan's cross. Broken up by Parlow, and it's loose to the box and just went wide.
Again, Sobrero's had a great match, playing one of the best matches I've seen her play all year long. Beautiful ball, drops in behind MacMillan. She's taking a look. She's got the defense beat. McLeod's a little bit out there. You see her on about the 8, but she just doesn't lift it.
16 USA shots, 3 for the Canadians, but on those 3 shots, Canada scored the 1 goal. Trailing though, 4-1. Played across, Wagner first times it, but didn't have enough on it. Canada gave her all that room. Sinclair's ball, Amber Allen down the middle, getting it and nearly split 2 USA defenders as she maintained possession of the ball. Allen again, trying to bring it down. Sinclair to Allen, wanted the return, wasn't coming. Allie Wagner, off for Lilly. It's broken up, gathered in, sent along the other way by Rustad. Sinclair brought it down, couldn't find Allen, and the USA will win it again. They outlet it to the right to Parlow, 70th minute. USA at 4-1. Shannon MacMillan with a couple of goals, helping out with the others. Cleared back the other way. There's a foul. Hutt brings it back. Neal was the player that was down. USA taking on Mexico. We already know there's going to be a great crowd at Reliance Stadium for that one. In Houston, Texas on May 8th. We'll have it live for you on ESPN2, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Last I had heard, there were over 35,000 tickets sold for that, and that was a while ago. Up to 42, I'm told. Free kick, Canada. Down by 3. Playing with a good many players from their under-19 team today. And even though they're trailing here, they've shown some good things out there on the field today. Coming in short-handed and on short notice to play against a much deeper, more experienced USA national team. This portion of the match being brought to you by Nike. Parlow out wide now. The side's withdrawn.
I think one of the biggest differences for Canada is they don't have Charmaine Hooper. We mentioned that she was not released. She creates so much havoc for the U.S. defense to work with. And as well, you mentioned earlier, Sinclair works so well with her. Evan Pellerud says Sinclair is his most complete player that he has. What a great compliment to such a young player.
And I would have to think that Canada would have changed their formation, certainly, and their plan had they had their full team here. I don't think you would have seen the 5 in the back. And you would have seen Hooper probably and Sinclair playing much closer to the U.S. goal.
But nonetheless, a great opportunity for 2 great sides to get together in preparation for the World Cup.
Pass up the middle is blocked by Chastain. Cut back to Rustad. Neal with it. Far side, 72nd minute. On the long ball. Chastain lets it go. Scurry. USA up 4-1 over Canada. When Canada has their full team here, April Heinrich was saying, no longer are they walks in the park against Canada. Those are now tough matches, but it never used to be that way. Now, they are going to have a rivalry. It'll be good to see the Canadians develop with these under-19 players, much like the O'Reillys and the Lindsay Tarpleys, who's not on this particular roster, and Kelly Wilson and others playing against each other when it counts at the highest level in 2007.
And I had a chance to take in one of the matches of the U19 championship, and Canada was really, really behind that event. They had huge crowds, and of course their U19 team did fantastic. Seeing some of those players here today.
Left side, Heather O'Reilly, and that goes out. O'Reilly pretty much at the under-19 level, scoring a goal a game pace over some 18 games. Chastain will play it back. Sobrero to the right. USA bringing it up for Christine Lilly, who has 1 goal today. That brilliant left foot she has. Couldn't find the target. It was MacMillan that time. Hucles in the air with a battle. Booth nearly handled it. Far side, MacMillan on the chase. Played up the flank. USA will pick it off. Hucles back for Chastain. Behind Slaton, has to wait for it. Here's Lilly. Cutting it back. Sending it forward. Andrews clearance. Here's Chastain, who changed footwear at halftime. She had those orange boots on in the first half. I don't know if it was a fashion statement or new boots, but made the change here in the second. Sandra Hunt's got a foul. 74th minute. USA up 4-1. Sometimes with the way the field is and the rain, you may want to change the footwear, but she was easy to spot with those orange boots.
Maybe breaking in a new pair of shoes is tough to do as well on your feet.
75th minute. She started on this team as a striker, and a very good one at that. Now, solid player in the back, and has moved her position once again from an outside back on the left to a central defender.
And has assumed a great leadership role in the retiring of Carla Overbeck. Really gave her the nod and the challenge, I guess I should say, to try and assume that leadership role. Of course, no one will ever be able to fill Carla's shoes, but Brandy's done a good job because she is so composed in the center of the defense. I'll come back to this in 1 sec.
Oh, Sinclair should have done better with that one. That was a good chance for her.
One of the key things that they had to teach Chastain early on was just to stay home, because she always did have such an attacking style out of the back. Here we'll see some organization here by the U.S. defense, and a bad clear to the top of the box. Sinclair just has plenty of time to tee it up, and it's just off the face of the goal.
Only Canada's 4th shot today. This is a star player. Saw in the Gold Cup, so successful there. 7 goals in that competition. Played up to the halfway line. USA getting to it. MacMillan. And that's going to be picked off and cleared by Canada. This portion of the match being brought to you by Chiquita. USA up by 3 goals. MacMillan has a couple of them. USA attacking again. You can see Canada with the 1 striker with Sinclair. The other 10 players were closer to McLeod than they were to the halfway line. On the back, off a block. She's going to recover before Wagner can. Just up to Matheson. In the middle it goes. You've got Chastain there, back to Scurry. Well, besides players, Wendy, like Slaton, who came in, and O'Reilly and Hucles looking for more playing time and to impress April Heinrichs, with a 3-goal lead and 15 or so minutes to go, what is the U.S. looking for?
Well, I think they want to make sure that they don't give up any more goals. That first goal they gave up was certainly a defensive breakdown. Not stopping the serve. Actually, the front runners probably should have been pressuring the Canadian defense on that serve, as well as the ball kind of bouncing around. So that's the kind of mental lapses that Coach Heinrich doesn't want to see. But she also said, remember at halftime, she said, we want to try and keep penetrating. If we see an opportunity to penetrate, let's go ahead and attack. So they're trying to play solid defense, but attack as well when they have their opportunities. Don't rest on a 3-goal lead. Let's go for it.
Angela Hucles bringing it down in the middle for Sobrero. And intended for Parlow, well read and cleared by Canada, but there's nobody up there to chase it, which is the danger when you are playing with just the 1 striker. Sinclair wasn't 20 yards near that ball. Sobrero left foot to the head. The sun looks like it's finally coming out today. In for MacMillan. No flag is up. She's going to walk it in. And Shannon MacMillan has the hat trick. Just as the sun is coming out, it shines brightly on MacMillan. That's 3 for her.
MacMillan has been involved every goal, and that's Allie Wagner. Freeing her up here, she beats the defense, takes a touch. Hey, I've got all the time in the world. Sees McLeod coming out and just chips it over. Again, great ball by Allie Wagner. Look at MacMillan running on the edge of the defense, takes a touch. McLeod comes up. McLeod comes out, and keeper goes down. The forward's decision is to go ahead and lift it, and that's what she does. It's in the back of the net.
So Shannon MacMillan, with 3 goals today, came in tied with a couple of others for the lead in goals scored with Hamm and Wagner. She is now clearly on top. Here is Chastain. This is the kind of game that didn't look like we'd see a score like this when the game started. But now, USA is still looking for more with O'Reilly being held back as McLeod makes the play. USA this year have not scored a ton of goals, so it's got to be refreshing for April Heinrichs and staff to see 5 goals today, and especially a brilliant individual performance by MacMillan.
Absolutely, and 5 very varied goals. Not to repeat myself there, but they're really getting in all kinds of ways.
Here she is again. MacMillan for 4! All of a sudden, that back line of Canada is very slow, probably tired.
Back line get fatigued, but MacMillan is just getting better with every minute in this game. Again, beats the defense. Keeper commits, and a beautiful, beautiful ball here by Lilly is what starts it, threads it right through the defense. There's Andrea Neal getting beat, and MacMillan looks up inside of the right foot. She is giving us a clinic in finishing today. Think about it. Free kick, JP, that was a clinic. She had that great ball, two great balls over the keeper committing to her, and she finishes it nicely, and then that was an inside of the right foot, just an absolute clinic.
Ball played long. Here's O'Reilly settling it on the cutback. Wagner pulls, chips for O'Reilly, held back by Andrews so that McLeod can get to it. A learning experience for the back unit from Canada. You've got someone 16, 20, 20, and 18. Only Neal at 31 has any experience in the back, and of course the goalkeeper's 20 as well. This is the starting lineup that they had.
Canada's missing Charlotte Nonan. She's going to play for the Atlanta Beat today. She was not released, so she's the mainstay in the Canadian defense, and I'm certain she would have been, especially late in the match, continuing to organize her squad in the back.
This portion of the match being brought to you by Gatorade. Welcome, if you're just joining us, to the Shannon MacMillan Show here in the 81st minute. She scored 4 goals and helped out on the other 2 that the USA has scored. Brianna Scurry not tested that often today. Sinclair had the game's first goal, and that's been it for the Canadian offense. Got to think that that bunker defense is also tired of the Canadians. A lot of chasing, a lot of discipline to make it work, and young players as well.
Right, and the U.S. is really finding great ways to spring. Like April Heinrich said at halftime, when you see that opportunity, I believe she called it like a hot knife through butter, and that's exactly what Christine Lilly did, and then Allie Wagner right before that on the 2 serves that sprung MacMillan's goals.
Lilly chasing this ball, but it goes out of play. Throw-in coming up. Will take it. Going near side, Amber Allen. And Slaton will not give it the sideline. Force the Canadians to touch it out.
Come up here! Come up here!
Daniel Slaton thought about throwing it across the field, now decides this is the better option. Blocked over by Rustad. Allen kept it in. The Timko pass for Sinclair. Timko. Down the right side, Sinclair. At the byline, cuts it back. Well done against Slaton, but then Slaton recovers to slow her down. Sinclair still able to pass that. Good vision for Neal, who mistimed the touch, lost it. Here's Parlow, and the USA counterattacks. Heather O'Reilly after it. O'Reilly running 1 against 2. Slowed down there. MacMillan's also up in this play. Why not feed the hot hand? Lilly's going that way, but didn't have enough to get it across to MacMillan. USA's offense, they've done this before, just not this year. 16th time in their history they've scored that many. But you wouldn't think many 4-goal games from individuals like Shannon MacMillan. here in the 83rd. USA up by 5.
Of course, she joins her teammates, some of her teammates, to jump on a flight, go to the West Coast for quite possibly another full 90 tomorrow.
Way back, here's Rustad. And McLeod will clear. Play back. Look at McLeod coming out. USA with Lilly.
Yes.
Back for Christine Lilly. Here's Wagner open. And down she goes at the end. Andrews with a good defensive play. Matheson clears. Reddick on the run. Broke it up. Canada will clear it out. Hucles will deny that space. Canada looking. Now they get some players going forward. But the pass is off the mark intended for Sinclair. Wagner counters. Looks for O'Reilly. That's too far. McLeod will just hang on. You wonder what the score would have been had she not made all those big saves in the first half.
Well, she definitely kept Canada in the game early on.
Sinclair running. She had the first goal. Nothing else since from Canada. Deflected ball back wide of Brian Scurry. Hucles was there defending. It's Rhiannon Wilkinson's first attempted goal since coming on here in the second half. 85th minute, USA taking charge here after a 3-1 lead at halftime. Up to now to 6-1. MacMillan has the hat trick in 3 of those goals. She actually had a hat trick just in this half. MacMillan runs into Wilkinson. Gets called for the foul.
You remember last year, MacMillan came out with a bang, scoring a ton of goals early on in the year, and then she was battling plantar fasciitis in her foot and had a rough WUSA season. Really kind of set her back a bit for this U.S. squad. It's good to see her back on her game. Very versatile player, can play up top, can play in the midfield. She certainly had a go of it today.
Free kick coming up. Reddick for the U.S.
Gotcha.
Punch it out. Lilly settles, cracked it off the left foot. That deflection didn't help out that time as McLeod has it. Seen Lilly with 1 goal today. Set up another one very recently off the right foot instead of the patented left. Here is MacMillan. Inside the box. Now back outside. Shannon with a 4-goal performance today. Knocked out. She's going to get another corner kick for the USA. Shannon MacMillan is the 3rd USA player to score 4 goals in a game. If you want to know who else did it? Good guess would be Mia Hamm, and that would be the correct one. Off the corner, you could hear the thud when she strikes it. We remember that from the World Cup in '99. It's going to go out of play for a goal kick. Shannon MacMillan hit that one a ton. Right now, it's time for our Reese's break of the game. We're going back for this one.
It happened in the first half. You remember Mia Hamm battling at the top of the box, gets fouled, and Shannon MacMillan comes up and strikes a beautiful rocket into the near post, and that's our Reese's break of the game.
Shannon MacMillan, brilliant day for her. Career day, you'd have to say, for in the USA national team uniform. 88th minute, this one nearly over. Dominating second half performance by the USA. Canada needed a second goal, and it was 3-1 to make it a tighter and a different game, but they couldn't get it. Couldn't generate any offense, really, in the second half. McLeod can't touch it there. Go out for a goal kick. Ready once more. Long one over the halfway line or around the halfway line, but Lilly stopped that. Canada playing it back up for Timko. Timko holds. Back for Booth. 89th minute. The Lilly pass up. Wagner. Good release for O'Reilly. Busting in behind the last defender. Heather O'Reilly with a shot. And it's blocked. And it comes all the way back out to Lang. So the future of the USA national team, Heather O'Reilly, denied that time by the defense of Canada.
And a beautiful ball by Wagner. Good touch by O'Reilly, but I think she's got to use her left foot there, JP. She kind of came around the ball to try and use that right foot, which is her strong foot.
Wagner has the ball and you're forward. Expect not only a pass, but a pass in stride and a good one.
Like a hot knife through butter, as April says.
Yeah, she can use cliches. We're not supposed to, but she can use them. Coaches can do that.
Give her credit for it, right?
Yeah. Here's O'Reilly. Push back. Left side, lead pass. MacMillan's running like this is the first minute of the game, not the last. And we're almost there now. MacMillan almost got around that last defender. Canadians are sick of her. She just looked up at that scoreboard clock, and who would blame her? She did. 90th minute. Teams that are playing in the second game have arrived in the field. It's Washington and Atlanta. Neither team has lost this year in the WUSA. Washington 3-0, Atlanta 2-0. Here's the long chip, and McLeod sees that one go high and wide. Time running out on this one. I don't anticipate Sandra Hunt putting much on in terms of stoppage time. Chastain got a piece of that ball, looks to get the rest. It deflects free, near sideline for Allen. Sinclair. Back for Timko. And it's cut up there by Lilly for O'Reilly. O'Reilly got past Rustad. Took the look up. Running against 4 Canadians. Looked like she was going to have a crack and go, but Andrew stopped her there. O'Reilly, though, not afraid to go for it, to attack, as this game comes to a close, and Shannon MacMillan with a brilliant performance. MacMillan ended up with 4 goals today as the United States comes away with a 6-1 victory against Canada. Wendy, you can't ask for a better performance out of MacMillan. I know it was Christine Lilly's day in terms of the cap situation, her 250th international appearance, but Shannon MacMillan obviously steals the show today.
There's no question about it. MacMillan is on the top of her game, as so many of these U.S. players are right now. It's exciting to see they're played in because they've been spending some great time with their WSA squads.
Here's what Shannon MacMillan did today, in case you joined us late. You missed a great show.
And it was a MacMillan show. Look at this great free kick here. That was set up by a Hamm foul, but she doesn't stop there. Beautiful ball here by Reddick. Drops in above the defense here. She sees the goalkeeper out. Look at her beating McLeod right over her head. She's having a great time, and Wagner springs her in. Keeper comes out, commits low. She goes high, back of the net. And then we mentioned that she had 4 goals. Again, getting in behind the defense here and just a clinic, finishing on goal.
So a great day today for Shannon MacMillan. People, if you're just tuning in now, this team was trailing by the score of 1-0 early. Canada was playing the bunker defense when it didn't look like we'd see 6 goals from the United States.
Well, I'll tell you, they just kept coming out and really put relentless pressure and tightened up on the defense after they gave up that first goal. But Shannon MacMillan was the hero of the game.
Brianna Scurry not really tested in this game today. The Canadians couldn't muster more than a half-dozen shots. So Shannon MacMillan with a great day today.
Thank you.
And congratulations. You've never scored 4 goals for the United States. How did this all work out for you today, beating that bunker defense?
I think we just had a lot of patience, and I mean, the 3 goals in the second half that I had were just great balls from teammates. You know, if I don't finish shots like that, then I don't belong out here.
Shannon, you look like you're playing on the top of your game. You feeling great out there?
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence. I've been working hard with Omid in San Diego and coming in here trying to be as sharp as I can, because we don't have a residency period. We got to make sure we're ready to go with the few days we have before each game.
Shannon, you didn't even look winded at the end of the game, but you must have been feeling it. In the 90th minute, you're still making these great runs against the Canadians. How are you feeling fitness-wise, and knowing that you're playing, what, tomorrow for San Diego?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel good, but the thing is with Canada, we can never sit back and relax. So I think, we do have to challenge them up to the 90th minute because we can't give them any opening. And, this is a World Cup opponent, so we want to leave our mark on them before we face them again.
Shannon, you are a Chevrolet Woman of the Match, and in your honor, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to the U.S. Soccer Foundation.
Thank you.
Great game.
Thanks.
So Shannon MacMillan comes up huge in this game today. 4 goals that she scored and set up a couple as well.
Well, she's excited, and she understands. April doesn't have these players very much, maybe 11, 12 training sessions between now and the World Cup, and so she's committed to being on the top of her game. It's fun to see. It's
got to be a great flight home, at least, for Shannon MacMillan, scoring 4 goals. She could probably fly that plane by herself. We've got Christine Lilly now down on the field. 250 caps. Julie Foudy said 7,000, but it really wasn't. Christine, what was it like today playing against a young Canadian side, but a team that bunkered pretty well in the first half until the U.S. scored their first goal?
Yeah, I mean, it's great playing Canada because they give us a style that's combative and long ball, so we have to just figure out how to beat it. And I think the first half, they snuck one in, but then we came back and decided to start to play. And once we started to play and get around them, things started to happen.
Christine, it seemed like you guys were really buttoned up in around the box, especially on your goal, just being sharp. Can you talk about your preparation for that?
Well, I think, we were going after them from the start, and basically, we need to get numbers in the box, and once we do that, we get some near post runs, the other runners can come in and fill in, and that's basically what I did, and I had the free shot in there.
Christine, you scored 1 goal. I'm assuming you've got a monitor there that you can help us out with. Tell us what happened on your goal.
Basically, I think Cindy made a near post run, and